Guys, welcome back to the M News. This is Jordan here on New Year's, actually. I'm not doing nothing, so I thought I'd make the top 10 worst movies of 2014 list. Now, I'm going to start off saying I did not get to see every movie this year. Watching my top 10 best video, you probably understand that. I have not seen every movie this year, so I'm limited down to what I can choose. The good news, I actually had seen enough movies that I got to make another list. Probably the first 3 movies on this list, like 10, 9, and 8. I didn't hate these movies. I know they were bad, but they come off to me as almost like guilty pleasures. So let's get started with the top 10. Coming in at number 10. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the Michael Bay produced, Jonathan Liebesman directed film. Now, keep in mind, Michael Bay did not direct this, but you could see a lot of Michael Bay elements in the movie. Megan Fox is probably the biggest thing I can point out that had Michael Bay written all over it. You know, he has to have his one hot chick in there. And there you go. You know, April O'Neil, spot open, right there. And Megan Fox stars in the movie, and yes, her acting is just horrendous. It's horrendous, and it's awful. The movie, the savior for the movie, and the fun part for me, and why I own it on Blu-ray, is because I enjoy the characters, the turtles. I think they're the best part about the movie. I think they bring a lot of joy and fun to it. So that's the only savior for this film that I can give you. And yeah, it makes my number 10 spot because I didn't hate it. I thought it was redeemable from the turtles position. But let's get down to my number 9. Number 9 was another movie I gave a little bit of praise to, and that was Maleficent. And looking back on it now, I can see I kind of overrated it. I gave it a higher grade than I probably should have. The movie was not that fantastic. It actually took a really popular and great story and turned it on its ass and kind of did its own thing. And right there, you know, the only thing that really saved the movie for me was the fact I am a huge fan of the story, and Angelina Jolie's performance as Maleficent was the savior for the movie. It had a lot of flaws, yeah, and I still enjoyed it for what it was, but it was still a bad movie either way you look at it, and I can certainly see why people hate it, and I put it on my list for those reasons. So let's get down to my number 8. Number 8 is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and, you know, I watched this movie. I actually enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and I was wondering why people gave it a lot of piss, and then I watched it again, like about a month after, and then I started realizing, oh my gosh, this movie is pretty fucking stupid, and then I watched it for the third time, and I literally just had to turn it off. I couldn't stand it no more. That's so bad. That's awful. I want to enjoy a Spider-Man movie, you know, and the fact that here's the thing that pisses me off with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is I think if they just let Mark Webb do what he was doing with The Amazing Spider-Man and continuously doing his story and how he was going to do it and he had his vision instead of the studio coming in and telling him, no, you know what we should do? We should throw in Rhino, and we should throw in the Green Goblin for marketing points, and people are going to start getting really, really excited for this movie. And that's what happened. They started throwing in random villains that weren't necessary. Electro, if they stuck with the Electro, I think this movie would have turned out to be so much better. It's the fact that they tried to nail like over 5 different villains in this one movie that was only maybe 2 hours tops long. And it was just a really big disappointment, and every time I watch it, it gets worse, so it has to make my list. That's awful. You know what I mean? It comes off from The Amazing Spider-Man 1, which I actually praise and will say I love. I can't believe this is the sequel. Let's hope if they are making another sequel to the franchise, let's hope it's better. Coming in at number 7 is A Million Ways to Die in the West. This is the Seth MacFarlane directed, I almost said Seth Rogen. This is the Seth MacFarlane directed film, coming right off of Ted, and I really enjoyed Ted. I'm not saying this was just one of the biggest disappointments of the year for me, and the fact it's not really it's not necessarily I hate it. It's the fact I'm very much disappointed in it because I was expecting to break out in tears laughing, and I chuckled at 1 to 2, 3 scenes tops. Seth MacFarlane casted himself as the lead role, And then when I look back on it, first off, I did do a review on this movie, and I did say Seth MacFarlane was fine in the lead role. But when you watch it again and again, you kind of feel uncomfortable with him being the lead role because you're not wanting Seth. It felt really awkward to have him as the lead role just right after he was coming off of Ted. I'm so used to seeing him as those voice actors that I wasn't really, comfortable with him actually playing, without doing a voice. He was just himself, and it really didn't feel comfortable. Liam Neeson was fine in the movie, but the movie was just mediocre, stupid, Western reject, just shit. You know what I mean? So let's get back down to my number 6. Coming in at number 6 is Rio 2. This is the sequel to the Rio 1, which I actually enjoyed decently. When the first one came out, I thought it was a fun little family film. This one really came off to me as the most generic sequel bullshit that we normally see with sequels when the movie doesn't do that well in the eyes of the audience. Here's the thing, kids wanted to see this movie, so when the movie started getting a lot of buzz, that's when, the movie made a lot of money. The movie made a lot of money because families and kids want to go see it. This was just a quick cash grab, guarantee, quickly put the characters back in there, get the actors back, let's just make up a stupid little story. And for me, there wasn't much of a story. It's the fact that a bird wanted to stay home, but his wife wanted to go off and look for more blue-feathered birds. And now we have a revenge story between this bird from the first one and him, and I just felt like, that's the most generic way to make a sequel and get a lot of money. And it certainly was when watching it. So let's get down to my number 5. That was Rio 2. Number 5 is Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones. As I said in my review for this movie, I didn't hate it. Now, I will admit there's still a couple scenes in that movie that I actually quite enjoy. I do own it on Blu-ray, I'm not going to lie to you, but after a while I just started realizing how bad and stupid and shitty this movie really is, and going back through it, it's the same, it's horror, it's just the same thing I've seen with found footage films for the last 2 years now. Such a disappointment. I was really expecting it though. I wasn't expecting, the first Paranormal Activity where you're just really intrigued and you're watching this house being watched. I mean, this one just really didn't do it for me. It did for me at first. I mean, it was actually really creepy at first, but then when you started watching it, it just started getting old and shitty and bad, and I didn't care for it after a while. So I'll probably be selling that here soon. Not for no promises. I might give it to somebody for Christmas or something, maybe your birthday, who knows. But Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones does make my number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4 is I, Frankenstein. This is I think the second movie I saw this year, and right after Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones. I, Frankenstein stars Aaron Eckhart, and man, this movie was trying to be an underworld. It tried, and man, when you try to do something and you miserably fail, this is what you get. I, Frankenstein's the biggest example I can give of that. You got Frankenstein's monster who has come back to help fight gargoyles, and that is the stupidest idea. That's like you're getting drunk and you're like, what could we do to get a cash grab? Well, we have all these underworld fans, so why not just think of something? Oh, I know, let's put in the Frankenstein's monster. All right, we got him. Now the other guy, while he's thinking of an idea, scratching his head, he looks up on one of those skyscrapers and he sees a gargoyle sitting there, and then he's like, what if Frankenstein's monster went against gargoyles? And then that's the idea, and then they get money, That's what this felt like. There was nothing I was intrigued by this movie. It was a piece of shit movie, and I'm glad it's out of the way. I'm glad this is the new year, and we're getting started with a fresh new set of films. Can't wait to see what they get started with. Coming in at number 3 was by far the most disappointing for me, I think, comedy of the year, and that was Tammy. Melissa McCarthy, I'm a huge fan of. I was expecting a lot from this movie, just like I was expecting a lot from Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West, and man, this movie was total bullshit. I literally could not. I wanted to laugh so hard, I might have even tried to fake laugh in the theater. I was trying to impress people, yeah, this movie's funny. I'm going to get into this because my friends, were wanting me to laugh. And I was trying to laugh because I didn't want to disappoint him, for taking me. And I was like, it's not that funny, man, is it? And I was like, oh, it's funny. And then I eventually, about 35 minutes in the movie, I'm just like, no, man, this movie ain't funny, and it sucks, and it's bullshit, and I'm disappointed. And we all left. I think I even gave the movie an F. I was very much ticked off and let down that this movie was that bad. So let's go down to my number 2 spot. We're getting there. Number 2 is Transformers: Age of Extinction. Now, I will say this. I sometimes enjoy, watching these movies for the heck of it. I don't know why, but they have that kind of feel like if you turn it on and it's on TV and you're super bored, you just want to watch it because it has like that SpongeBob effect. Like, I hate SpongeBob to death, but every time it's on, I have to sit down and watch it. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but it's like that. But the movie is just awful. It's horrendous. The acting is even this is good. You have an actor as good as Mark Wahlberg in there, and he couldn't even save the movie from how terrible this movie was. He couldn't save it even as hard as he was trying. He's even wanting to go into another one, and who can we blame him? It's money. It's money. It's good money. For me though, it's shit money, and that's shit. That's all shit. Transformers is shit, and we need to get moving because I want to name off the biggest piece of shit on my list. Let's get to my number 1. My number 1 is definitely, it has to be. It's Legend of Hercules. This is an atrocious movie. This is just awful. I cannot tell you how bad this is. First off, this isn't even the story of Hercules. This is more of just a love story between Hercules and a girl. They don't care how Hercules came to his heroicness. At least even okay. This is how mad I was watching this movie. Even after Hercules with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, after watching that movie, the movie had nothing to do with him being the son of Zeus. But at least the movie had the dignity to just say, I'm Hercules, and accept the fact you're Hercules and you're a badass and you're buff and you're strong, you're gonna throw shit. And this movie didn't even clarify that you didn't even get to see him rise to his power. He was just, it was just, okay, you're Hercules, so that's it. And now we're going to talk about the love story and interest that you're interested in. It's just like, whoa, what the fuck? And then you get on, and the story ends, and you're like really bad. You're looking at all this bad CGI and green screen, and you're just going, you know what? There's no way in hell The Rock's version of Hercules is going to be this bad. And guess what? It's not. Check out that one. If you're interested in seeing a Hercules movie, don't go near this piece of shit. You watch The Rock Johnson's Hercules. Dwayne Johnson. I keep getting his name mixed up. But don't go near this piece of shit. Go towards that better movie. And even knowing that's not a good movie, it's still better than this piece of shit. And guys, that was my top 10 worst movies of 2014. I want to hear yours down below. Let me know what your thoughts on this list are. And guys, as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And thanks for watching. And tell me what you guys think of my intro. Was it too much, too long? Let me know.